Hey. Live from London, Roberts! Yes, we are. Hello. Contrary to popular belief, we are live from London. A brand new year and a brand new aperitif, a brand new show. Episode 71, the first one of the new year. And apparently 71 is the brown number. I'm not sure what that means.
Brown what?
I think it makes you go brown when you hear something tonally in 71. I don't know.
Okay, I know.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
2021, folks. Yeah, we're ready for another year of exciting cars, pooing ourselves, crazy vehicles, and of course, another year of not being allowed to go to the pub. I miss the pub so much, and my wife misses me not going there regularly. As she always says to me, absence makes the heart grow fonder, and get the hell out of my house before I kill you. That's my wife. Sorry we had no show last week. You just had to enjoy our best of collection, the best of 2020. I hope you enjoyed it. The show, of course, still available to view as our 70 other shows on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And unlike the BBC, this is all gratis free. Coming up on the show this week, we've got all the news that's fit to print for 2021 in the news. We've got an unloved 4x4 featuring as our quirky classic car selection, and we'll answer all your questions and queries in the mailbag this week. It's fit to burst.
Oh, yes, you did hear Richard very correctly there. The mailbag is fit to burst.
And it's swollen beyond belief, I think. I blame the Royal Mail.
The Royal Mail? Who do you mean? Prince Andrew? That mail?
Maybe.
Seasonal backlog then. I think it's I had a seasonal backlog on Christmas Day. Too many Brussels sprouts. Yes, it's the show often imitated. It's we return again with another show from the wild world of motoring. We're kicking convention to the curbside.
Nice.
Sticking it to the man and offering an honest to goodness motoring program that is back to basics because we have no budget.
Yes,
we look at cars from the average man in the street's point of view, and that's because you can get more average than us two.
Yeah, we're pretty average. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Coming this week, we're off on a global journey to discover some of the world's best driving roads and lost highways. We have a new feature called Pup of the Week, where we'll take a look at a terrible car.
Pup of the Week!
That's up for sale right now, and it's a good one. Believe me, there are some absolute rotters though in that pile. And it's also competition time this week. We're calling it Total Recall. Get out. So that was my Arnie impression.
It was good. I liked it. Get to the chopper. Get your head down. Get it down.
So stay tuned for all of that and more. I'm Simon Sujuan, and watch out. You might get what you're after. Cool babies. Strange but not a stranger. I'm an ordinary guy. Burning down the house.
Simon Suji won there, of course, with his tribute to American politics. And I'm Richard Green, and life's a piece of shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke, it's true. So, you see, it's all a show. Keep them laughing as you go. And just remember that the laugh is on you. And always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the right side of life. That is my tribute to the outgoing American President, Donald Trump. Keep your chins up, dear, all four of them. Talking of which, we have a new sponsor for the show. It's Capital Water this time. Oh, yes. Capital Water, the logo is full of impeachment goodness. Twice the impeachment power. So you can try some of that Capital Water. I do like to tell them, it's the White House, I do like to remind Americans that the reason the White House is white is because during the Second Revolutionary War, when America tried to invade Canada, the Royal Navy sailed down the river into Washington and set fire to every single government building. No private homes, just the government buildings, and said, do not keep your hands off Canada. And they had to paint them all white. Yeah.
There
So
you go.
there
Bit of
you
history
go.
for you.
We will hopefully get some more water, some more money off Capital Water, the best impeachment power.
Mexicans love them.
We love them. They're the best. Okay, time now for my take on Carb. Oh, we didn't say what's the name of the show. The
It's
name of the
Car-Boyz.
show is
Car-Boyz.
Car-Boyz, which is rather apt for what's happened recently. Yes, time now for my take on the show. It's when I take a look at the world from my own view, which can often be different from the norm, but will certainly be entertaining. Now, you're probably aware my take is my own opinion. It in no way reflects the opinion of the show or our sponsors. Capital Water, should we get any? But like a totalitarian despot in a banana republic, my word is final in this section of the show, and by that I mean you will get rounded up and thrown out of a helicopter if you don't behave. So listen, this week I'd like to talk about theft. Not theft of an actual thing or product, but theft of an idea, and how people that do it should be bloody well ashamed of themselves. I'm talking, what I'm talking about here is people stealing intellectual property, something that you've created, maybe even patented with your mind, and something that people can blatantly copy. Now, we all know we can buy a wonderful Tag Heuer watch on the streets of Jakarta for less than £10. In Turkey, you can buy a limited edition Louis Vuitton, or as I like to call him, Louis Vuitton bag for less than £20. And who of us hasn't watched a DVD that's been pirated off the internet? I know I certainly have. I had a lovely Rolex watch that I bought in Chatterchat Market in Bangkok, which slowly flaked gold paint and turned my wrist green. But then I did spend only £8 on it. Now, all of these are intellectual property theft and do, in the end of the day, hurt the manufacturer. We also know that the Chinese have been stealing intellectual property from the West for years. Take their version of the Range Rover Evoque. This is the Landwind X7. Yes, I did say Landwind. I think both Land Rover and BMW could take them to court, although you wouldn't be able to do that in China. Now, talking of BMW, of course, BYD are a Chinese car manufacturer who supply new electric buses in London. But in an earlier incarnation, the company believed their manufacturing plant was not in Beijing, but in Bavaria.
Ooh.
Well done, BYD. Now, I've had a few ideas stolen from me over the years. I used to be a radio producer, and I pitched an idea for a Latin music show to BBC Radio 2. They decided not to pick it up, and about 6 months later, they decided to launch a Latin music radio show on their network. What a strange coincidence. I like coincidences. Then there was a time when both Simon and myself created a pilot for a television car show. The program never got made, but the show's title was stolen by another program maker. Don't worry. That one's with the lawyers. I hope they are listening tonight. Now, recently, a sad right-wing Canadian decided to launch his own car podcast. Fine, we all like a bit of competition.
Yeah.
This guy, though, is a real sad piece of work, a 21st century fascist. Well, he decided to call his show Car-Guys. Yes, guys with a Z. I wonder where he got that idea from. Unfortunately, when promoting his show on his other podcast, the fool actually called the new program Car-Boyz. So I think we all know where he sourced his material from, don't we? I get it. I mean, imitation, let's be honest, is the sincerest form of flattery, but why not box clever? Call your podcasts, I don't know, Machine Men, Motors Men, Petrol Heads, Motoring Mayhem, Car Nuts, The Car Crew. Pretty easy to come up with a name for a show, or so you would think. Look, I wish them all the success with their show. I think they're on episode 1 or maybe 2 as opposed to our number 71. But it's just a shame that people can't come up with their own original ideas. And let's remember, all creatives steal. Led Zeppelin stole from Willie Dixon. Banksy would be nowhere without, of course, Roy Lichtenstein. And the Mazda MX-5 owes a lot to the original Lotus Elan. But, and here's the rub, try not to blatantly steal, kids. The public can see when you're showing a BYD badge and not a BMW one. There you go. BYD or BMW, I'll let you choose. Simon, any thoughts?
I don't think the B stands for Bavarian in. I did know what it actually stood for, which is live your dreams. That's what
live your dreams of owning a BMW.
Yeah, and not Bavaria, not Beijing, none of those. So,
no.
Yeah, but I was trying to work out which ones I was of the Car Guys. I don't know.
Car Guys. Yeah, well, good luck with it, Car Guys. We'll see how many episodes you actually crank out with somebody that knows nothing about cars, self-confessed know nothing about cars. But yes, unfortunately, people steal stuff all the time. I could go on forever for the amount of things that have happened, and people come along and I found that the idea was created by the zeitgeist that was in the air of a time, as opposed to I heard somebody clever say it, and I decided to nick the story. Moving swiftly on before we get ourselves into territory of getting sued, shall we have some news?
Yes, let's have some news.
Let's have some news. Here we go. Here's the news.
A new year, but the news still flows. And firstly, in your cats at risk of being stolen news, car drivers across Britain are being warned that they could be at greater risk this year, of the latest vehicle crime that's already rife in the capital here in London. Catalytic converters, they're being stolen, and it is prevalent in London with organised criminals hacking the emission-reducing devices. They actually contain expensive precious metals from the underside of the vehicles in broad daylight. Damage caused by thieves frantically trying to strip them from vehicles are resulting in insurance claims of between £2,000 and £3,000, according to the AA. And in the worst case scenario, have seen some motors written off entirely. I do know a friend of mine. He's had that with his car. He's had the cat taken off from his workplace, of all places.
Hello.
Which is surrounded by security cameras. But analysts compare the market revealed which cities outside the capital are being already hit by the crime wave, and which locations have seen the greatest year-on-year increase in catalytic converter thefts. It comes as a BBC report in August says that this type of theft has soared sixfold between 2018 and 2019, and it found that there were 13,000 reported cases in England and Wales last year. That is up 2,000 from 2018. In an added twist, the BBC said criminals are actively going after vehicles owned by NHS staff because they are parked for prolonged periods of time during shifts, giving them ample time to remove the devices. Catalytic converters are made up of an array of valuable materials, including palladium, rhodium.
London Palladium.
I thought they were like plants, and platinum. The
Rhodium,
gangs, they are well aware of this, and there's a small fortune stored beneath your vehicles. So it's time for Richard to give us our top 5 countdown of the most popular hotspots for catalytic converter crime.
In at 5, and Lorraine Chase would love this location, with 101 catalytic converters stolen since 2017. Yes, it's the Heathrow of Bedfordshire. It's Luton. Coming up at number 4 with 166 thefts in the last 3 years. It's those dreaming spires of Cambridge. Holding on to number 3 hotspot, it's the city that was home to the British motor industry and now has a place that nobody wants to be sent to. The 3rd hotspot with 287 catalytic converters stolen since 2017. Home to the blues, it's Coventry. Still 2 more places to go on a countdown of the UK's hotspots for catalytic converter car crime. And in at 2, scooping up the silver, always the bridesmaid and never the bride. It's Britain's 2nd city, Birmingham, with 320 exhausts ruined by thievery. Coming in at number 1 for the 3rd year in a row, a city that has had the most thefts of catalytic converters since 2017, our very own capital. Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner, but this is not a reason not to love the town. The city has a grand total of 15,237 catalytic converters stolen over the past 3 years, taking it to the number 1 spot.
Thievery. Look at that.
Thieving gets. There you are. Look at them. No, I think that's a Jazz as well. Get away from that poor old lady's Honda Jazz.
As a price, if I'm not mistaken, it's also particularly because they're hybrid vehicles. And hybrid vehicles have even stricter emissions controls.
Now, as we can see from this picture, there is a catalytic converter on the right, my right, and on the left is 2 chaps in tracksuits, and in the middle is the gold. Now, the only thing is, How do you get the gold? It's not like you can open this up with a tin opener and pull out the gold and the palladium, the rhodium, and all this stuff, and the platinum. There's got to be scrap dealers that know. Oh yeah, here's Terry again for the 17th time. I mean, it's frightening that it's 200, 300, 400, 500. London, 15,000. So they've got to know that what they're doing. Somebody's doing this. They've got to know.
As well. They don't look like mechanics, surely.
And, oh, look, here's a catalytic converter that's been cut off by an electric saw. I would suggest if the police actually want to do their job, we're not saying that they don't, but maybe they should pull their finger out and head round to a few breakers' yards as opposed to stopping me doing 10 miles an hour over the speed limit. Moving swiftly on, staying with in saving the planet electric car news, California-based Aptera recently opened pre-orders on its solar electric vehicle that never needs charging, and within less than 24 hours, according to the firm. So it never needs charging. It's solar powered, and if it's empty, you can charge it within 24 hours. I assume that's 24 hours with a 12-hour sunny day. The car is a mere £26,000 and has been completely sold out. The futuristic design structure is designed with lightweight materials, providing low drag aerodynamics and cooling. The Aptera's never change technology is comprised of an integrated solar package that provides more than 40 miles of free driving per day, making it the first vehicle that you'll never need to fuel up daily. It's also equipped with a battery pack that provides 1,000 miles of range. Wow. Which greatly surpasses the Tesla Model S's 370 miles of range. Co-founder Chris Anthony said, with Aptera's never charge technology, you are driven by the power of the sun. Not so good if you live in Doncaster. Built-in solar array keeps your battery, but great in California. Battery pack, hello there, topped up. And anywhere you want to go, you just go. The vehicle's designed liquid-cooled electric motors allow the vehicle to go from 0 to 60 in, wait for it, 3.5 miles an hour with a top speed of 110 miles an hour. Talk show host Jay Leno, the former talk show host, was impressed by the vehicle in 2013. In fact, you can see it on Jay Leno's garage, or as we like to say properly, garage. He bought, which brought in thousands of orders for the three-wheeled car. It's actually very cool. I like it.
It's very cool, but doesn't seem very practical though.
Yeah, you're not going to move house in this, are you? The firm plans to start production and deliveries next year. This is going to be a lot cheaper than a Tesla. Costs nothing to recharge. Give me one of these, although, as I say, not in rainy Doncaster. But, you know, think about the journeys you make. Seriously, how many times are you joined by other people? I mean, this is obviously, I'm guessing, a two-seater. Most of the time you make a journey, you're on your own or with somebody else. As long as you've got a boot to chuck stuff. But yeah, it wouldn't be, I'm a family man, it wouldn't be practical for me to have that car, unfortunately.
And she's clearly after his car. Moving on.
His large car. Can I touch about your car? That's what she's saying.
Got gull-wing doors. Fantastic. Staying with electric cars, though, we've got more electric car news with Tesla shares. Tesla. Oh, no.
I'm a very rich man.
Oh, no. Sorry, that's Oscar Pistorius. I got a picture of.
He's not quite as rich as this one.
Different South African.
See this one can tell a difference between a burglar and his girlfriend in the bathroom, as opposed to the one that you're holding that has trouble telling between the two. I didn't know there was a reaver in there. I thought it was a block fella with a gun.
Tesla shares they fell last week, and it made its world debut on Wall Street. The S&P 500. It's like a race car race, isn't it?
Yes, I love it.
S&P 500. The blue chip index measures the stock market performance of 500 of the largest public companies in the United States. The electric car maker, which is run by billionaire Elon Musk, which we showed you a picture of a minute ago, is the biggest firm to join the S&P, and not the SMP. That's the Scottish party, isn't it?
I think it stands for Standard and Poor's. I think, yeah.
But its shares gained 60% in value after the change was announced last month. But yesterday they dropped 6.5% to $650 each.
I think they've gone back up again since we wrote this.
Yes. Some analysts suggest that this was because of a rush of tracker funds to financial stuff.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Blah blah blah. Nevertheless, Tesla's admission to the S&P comes after
Oh,
a
it's
huge
great.
growth in its shares. A year ago, they were changing hands for about $84 each,
Yes.
but now it's the sixth largest company in the S&P, behind the likes of Facebook. Chris Ford, good name, co-manager of Smith and Williamson Artificial Intelligence Fund, so Swift, which holds Tesla shares, said the company
What?
has so far proved doubters and short sellers wrong. So there you go. They're telling people go and invest. Obviously,
Apparently, he was the richest man in the world for 2 days, and then he tweeted. He tweeted, "Oh, great, yeah," and then he went, "Now I've got to get back to making cars." Which, as opposed to that guy, who's now one of the poorest men, although he does apparently have the biggest arsehole in South African jails. But now, bear in mind that Tesla has only started to show profits in the last 4 quarters.
yes.
So everybody's been saying that this is, he's a millionaire. No, yeah, he is, but his company hasn't been profitable.
I did share with you a video of a guy explaining how it all works. So basically, all Teslas are sold at a loss. Each vehicle is sold at a loss, but they make money by selling credits, environmental credits, to other car manufacturers. So
Okay.
So that's how it works.
So is this a little bit like back in the day with the Mini? The Mini was the loss leader, wasn't it?
Yes.
For British Motor Corporation.
The company itself is making money by selling effectively almost like bonds to other car manufacturers.
Right.
So
I see. So there you go. Right. Well, I might have to go and get myself some Tesla stock. I don't think I'll be able to afford to buy one, but there you go. Finally, if you can read this sign, you're driving too close news. The new motorside cameras. Oh, yes, we want more roadside cameras. Yes. Are going to be trialled across not Great Britain, just England, to catch tailgaters on motorways. The Highways England is testing a new technology on the M1. So if you are driving up the M1, folks, be careful. In Northamptonshire, before it launches it across the country, if successful, as many as 26,000 tailgating cars, vans, trucks and buses have been identified in the first 2 months of the trial. That's the equivalent to almost 500 a day. Any vehicle that deliberately flouts the highway code's the highway code's 2-second minimum gap. Only a fool would break the 2-second rule. I think it was that the thing from the 70s? I think it was the same guy that went, only a fool would break the 2-second rule and get caught by Operation U-Tree.
This is the age of the train.
Yes, it's the age of the train. Now take your pants off. Any vehicle that deliberately flouts the highway's code 2-second minimum gap is deemed to be tailgating in the new system. Working in partnership with police, drivers spotted tailgating by the cameras will receive a warning letter in the post. Oh, all right. Look, I've got a warning letter. Oh, it's terrible. Anywho, what's for dinner, love? Working in partnership with the police, drivers, yes. So highways, so you get a warning letter in the post. The organisation is not looking to prosecute drivers, but instead wants to reinforce the message to leave a gap between vehicles. So a nice large gap. Highways England's head of road safety, Jeremy Phillips, said the cameras are to make drivers better aware of the behaviour, encouraging better driving. Of the 26,000 tailgaters spotted from early October to the first week of December, 3,700 of them were repeat offenders. The worst drivers have been seen tailgating as many as 12 times on the same 150-metre stretch of the road the cameras have been installed on. The cameras have been developed by AECOM, and they operate in a similar way to speed cameras. Concerns have been raised in particular about HGVs tailgating on stretch of motorways with roadworks where the speed limit is reduced to 50. Now, the problem I have with this is it doesn't take into account either the capability of the car or the driver. New driver, big old car, very dangerous. But this does stink of Big Brother again, putting your hand into the motorist's pocket, I feel.
So, there's a couple of things that I find wrong with this. First is, does it take into account, so it's a 2-second rule, but I'm assuming if traffic is slowed down, you don't need a 2-second rule. So if you're just crawling,
yes,
it's then got to understand you can actually get closer.
Yeah.
So it's a bit like when you've got the chevrons in this country. We've got chevrons on the road that you're supposed to keep to as a gap. The second thing is when you see lorries tailgate each other, there's a reason for that. And the reason for that is, just like in Formula One,
Yes.
you hide behind the other track in front, you're actually saving fuel because you're in that air that's so streamlining. So that's why you see lorries tailgating, is because they're actually in the slipstream of the lorry in front, which saves fuel.
It's a little bit. Isn't all this a little bit 1984? And
Yeah.
I will point out this. We're currently what's the date today? The 13th today, and we're in of January 2021. In the middle of a lockdown here in the UK, so the roads are pretty empty. I have seen so many roadworks on my
Yes.
very small 6-mile commute to work. They are everywhere, and guess who's working at them? Nobody. Nobody's working on them. Nobody worked on the M1 for the 10 years that they put the extra lane on the effing M1 and put the speed limit down to 60 miles an hour. Now, 60 miles an hour in an Austin 7 from 1948 isn't a frightening experience. In a car like mine, which is capable of about 160 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
I've got ABS. I've got all sorts of traction control. I've got disc brakes all round. It's a 21st century car. That being said, if I had somebody up my Harris the other day driving on M40, and I looked in the mirror and he was shooting up. He was young. The car was and it was a 1994 L-Reg. I think they're 94 L-Reg. I want to say Audi A6. And I just pulled all the way in and I went, good luck. Because that's an 800 quid car, and when that engine blows up, you are what's-itted, my friend. And that's a young driver that won't know what to do if a tyre bursts or an engine blows up. It's an old car. So I was like, no. Before you, please. I will see you when I pass you in 3 miles when you've been in an accident. But you enjoy that. I don't think we need this. I think it's another crock. I think it's a money generator. We pay enough for this. Don't tailgate. But the 2-second rule, I think, is a strange thing, and I don't think it applies anymore. That's just my thought. And the other thing being, the reason people tailgate is because we need to come up with a better idea about how motorways operate. People tailgate because idiots sit in the central lane or the outside lane doing 65. So make it illegal not to pull in after passing somebody. But people don't. People just go, so I'm staying in the middle lane.
A couple of years ago, they did have a thing where they said they were going to stop middle lane hoggers, but that didn't really work.
I undertake all the time. I never used to. Now I go, but no, the rule's gone out the window because everybody undertakes, because there's always some dickhead in the outside lane doing 60 miles an hour and just go, whoop.
See, I kind of style it out. So I'll pull into the other lane, hold back a bit, and then go past.
Right. do you do this as you're going past?
Yes, pretty much so, yeah. But they look at you as if they go, what?
He's angry. What's wrong? What's your problem? Oh, you're in the wrong lane. I mean, I know. See, if you're watching this in America, you won't get it, because in America, you can undertake, you can overtake. But in the UK, it's once you're passed, get into your right-hand lane, get the F out of the way, in the same way that the tourists don't know about the tube. Once you're on the tube escalators, get over to the right, get the heck out of my way. I'm coming past. I'm a moody Londoner. Which is true. Time for the bands to strike up, I think, and I believe in the classic car selection. Hang on, here we go. They sounded quite good this week. They've been to rehab.
Yeah, I think we've done them really well.
Yeah, we've got them off the heroin. Not for long, though. They're jazz musicians. Time now on the show to pull back the curtains and reveal a classic car that's been overlooked, a diamond in the rough, a piece of steel that's been long forgotten. It's time for the classic car selection. And this week, we turn the clock back to the early 2000s and Mark II of a car that started to dominate the SUV market. Now, this one was built for those Generation Xers who wanted a fun vehicle for the weekend, but also needed to get a pushchair or a stroller or the kids in the back. Our car this week is the Mark II CRB. Now, the RAV4 had started the UK sports utility vehicle thing back in June 1994. It sprouted next pair of doors and made it even more practical in June 95. But the Honda CR-V was an honourable second to the scene, beating the Land Rover Freelander to the market by 6 months in June 97 and coming in at £2,000 cheaper. And well, let's face it, it's a Honda, remarkably more reliable. It caught the public imagination of what a family car could really be. It really did. And it was an instant hit and has remained so ever since. The Honda went back to the drawing board and launched the second generation of the CR-V in 2002. And now, using the opportunity of its new 2.2-litre diesel engine, it refreshed the design. That's it for 2005. And outside the front grille, new headlamps, new pedestrian-friendly front bumpers, and new wheel arch protectors. And inside, there are improvements such as instruments and trim, and underneath, the suspension's been sorted out to give better handling. Now, the appeal of the CR-V was its versatility, not so much as axle-deep mud plugger, more its ability to iron out the occasional gravel track whilst offering a car-like amenity on the road. To cater for these diverse needs, the CR-V is equipped with a correspondingly wide range of equipment. All models are fitted with standard aircon, power steering, removable picnic table. I don't know how the removable picnic table comes into it, but that's what it says here. An accessory socket in the boot, and stereo with RDS. Ooh. And a CD player. Do you remember RDS? Nice. I've forgotten about RDS. Electric windows, sunroofs and mirrors also came standard across the range because it's Japanese and not German. It had an immobiliser and a split rear tailgate so you could get your ski pack in if you were going on holiday. If you want to look for in a used one, well, it's a Honda, so it's bulletproof. For example, there's no cam belt instead of chain, so you don't have to worry about changing that. A couple of things to watch out for. Firstly, it's a 4x4. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. So check out warning lights and on the dash to telling you if anything is array. And if it sounds funny, it probably is funny. Also, this car used to tow trailers and caravans, but it's got a maximum towing weight of 1,500 kilograms. So make sure you're not trying to pull the contents of Chipperfield's Circus before you buy. Also, as opposed to every other 4x4, weirdly, you're better off buying the petrol than the diesel. The diesel's got more issues and it's not very good on MPG. And the cost of diesel in this country being more expensive than petrol,
go for petrol.
Just go for petrol. How much should you pay? Well, surprisingly little. This one, 2003, 60,000 on the clock, full leather, full electric, full service history, 3 owners, £2,000.
Nice.
Heck of a lot of car for very little outlay. So why not embrace the SUV that's cheap as chips and buy yourself a Honda CR-V?
I did like the CR-V. I think the original one opened up and you could have a shower fitted to it.
Nice
accessory. So yeah, I think they were aiming for like the 30 to late 40s sort of.
Yes, my colleague had one and he drove it for years and years and years. And he only stopped when it was the cost of using it on the motorway. And I think he bought a smart car or something because it was costing him a fortune. He got something completely different. But he said it was one of his favourite cars and a real, absolute fantastic motor. So that is our car that we recommend this week in our classic car selection, the Honda CR-V. And time for Lost Highways. There you go. Thanks, Hank.
So if you're new to the show and it's first time watching on episode 71, this is our feature where listeners email us in.
Simon, it's Car-Boyz. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Car-Boyz.
Car-Boyz. Yes. So if you haven't, if you've watched this show before, you'll know that it's where we get listeners and viewers to email us in to give us their favourite roads. It could be a quiet coastal road that leads down to the sea. Alternatively, it could be a straight 2-lane blacktop that leads to infinity and invites you to gun the pedal to the metal. Whatever your poison is, let us know your perfect driver roads here on Car-Boyz. And if you want to get in touch, Rich, what are the details?
I don't know because I haven't printed them out. I've only got one with the coffee stain. The details are...
Yay!
Why don't you email the Car-Boyz at car-boys@outlook.com, Car-Boyz with a Z, Facebook, Car-Boyz, boys with a Z, at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs, Twitter, Car-Boyz, at car_boys, boys with a Z, Instagram at car_boys with the 3 Zs.
There you go. And our first correspondence for this year comes from Sideshow Bob 365. I guess he's a Simpsons fan. Who says, "Dear Car-Boyz, Happy New Year to you."
Happy New Year.
You Bart.
But,
Since it's cold in Blighty this time of year, I suggest the Middle East, he says. His favourite road is the Jebel Hafit, which is UAE's most famous mountain, and looks like this. It is 170 kilometers away from Abu Dhabi in Al Anin. The mountain is the second highest peak in the Emirates. Constructed in 1986, the beautiful asphalt road snakes round the Jebel Hafit and is over 7.3 miles long with 60 corners. Nice. The drive up the steep rocks to reach the summit at 1,250 meters is pretty exhilarating. These twisty roads are the reason why it's one of the best driving roads in the UAE. Being world famous, Jebel Hafit teems with tourists on weekends. Probably not this time of year.
no.
COVID. Driving amidst the entire hustle and bustle is no fun. To enjoy uninterrupted driving, avoid going on to the mountains at the weekends. Also, there are platforms up the road where you can stop your vehicle, cool it down, and take in the splendid view of nature. The adventure doesn't stop there. The Hotel Mercure Grand Jebel Hafit is situated at the top of the mountain at 3,000 feet, but there's only one route to get back down. As the mountain roads are steep, driving down the mountain could be challenging, though nevertheless, he says that's what motorists look for. So I think that's great. It's in slap bang in the middle of the desert.
It is looking, yeah, you're nearly there. There you go. Yes, it looks lovely. Is there a bar in the hotel?
Dry state. No.
Dry state. Have I been to the UAE? I think I have. Yeah, but I've only been to the airport. I've been to Dubai about 15 times, but only to the airport. Unlike
funny you say that.
Go on.
I went to Dubai Airport in 1991, and it was nowhere near what it was like.
Really?
It was a stop off on the way to Mauritius.
Well, I have a similar story. In 2001, about a week after 9/11, I went to Nepal, went to Kathmandu to walk up in the Himalayas, and I stopped off in Qatar. And it was horrible. It was horrible. There was nobody there. It was just like oil fields, and that was it. We stopped basically camels. I do remember that I had the choice of channels was the Mecca channel or Lee Carvello's golfing channel. So I watched a lot of. It was either and then you got to take coming up to the third hole here. I go, fantastic.
Nice.
It's a good road though. Good road, guys. They do in the UAE do build a good road. Next in the inbox is Jazz Hands. Dear Car-Boyz, I know you like the Far East of the world. My favorite road runs from Kuala Gangsar in Malaysia to Betong in Thailand. The driving route will lead you to neighboring Thailand with as much pizzazz as possible. The journey starts at the royal town of Perak, where you'll find beautiful attractions such as the Budia Mosque, one of the most beautiful mosques in Malaysia, alongside plenty other imperial monuments. Because I did live in Malaysia, I think Perak has these weird lakes as well, which makes it look like the Lake District of Malaysia, but actually they were part of tin mines, and the English governess, when the tin was exhausted, went, "Why don't you just put water in it? We'll have some nice lakes." You head north out of Perak on the north-south highway. It's a speedy conduit for vehicles moving through Malaysia from Singapore in the south to Thailand on the north. The highway snakes up its way through peninsular Malaysia and provides comfortable driving conditions for those in a hurry. Kuala Gangsar is just situated 35 kilometers north of Ipoh on the western banks of the Perak River. From Ipoh, the highway passes through karst topography, dominated by the round limestone hills, blanketed in unique vegetation that can survive harsh conditions. From there, hop onto the new freeway, which will take you through the expensive green fields, blue skies, a majestic mountain range before you take a left at the town of Gedik. If you plan to arrive soon, there is a 14-day mandatory monitored quarantine. You need to take a negative COVID-19 test issued at the most 3 days before arrival. Mandatory installation of a smartphone app for contact tracing. Domestic travel is not restricted, but face masks are mandatory. There is social distancing requirement of 1 meter, and I believe it's getting a little bit worse in Thailand at the moment. I will say this. I have driven on a Malaysian's roads, and they
Yes.
are. I've
Really?
driven on Thai roads, and they are not as nice. They are frightening. You will be on a B road, and it will be saying that this is a major road, and you're like,
Wow.
there's very few motorways there, and let's say, getting hold of a Thai driving license is about as hard as buying a packet of cigarettes. As long as you're over 18, have a license.
Fantastic.
Oh, thank you. But driving in Malaysia is one of the things I have really enjoyed. So I will be checking out that road. Oh, and one thing to say: be careful of truck drivers. That route is Singapore to Bangkok, going through Malaysia. Truck drivers that do that road don't stop off anywhere, and they don't stay at hotels. They either sleep in their cabs or they take lots of caffeine and Red Bull and speed and just keep driving. So
And
just
that's why
be careful of that.
they observe the rule that might is right, I'm guessing.
They do very much indeed. The bigger the thing, the more you give way to it in Asia. You can email us at car-boys@outlook.com and or pause the VT if you're watching on YouTube and or on Facebook, and contact us. It's a new feature on the show, Simon.
Oh.
It's a new year. It's a new feature. It's time now on the show.
Somewhere there's a bunch of dogs going completely mad.
I tell you, we might be getting a dog soon. I'll tell you more about that after the show.
And it's time for new features, Rich said, on the show where we examine the terrible crimes committed against crimes across the world, from putting a whale tail on the spoiler of a 1994 Vauxhall Nova to pasting over rust with Bondo. I don't know what Bondo is.
It's a gob, plastic padding.
Oh, okay.
The Americans, I think, call it Bondo.
Top even unwelding a baked bean tin to exhaust. We basically find a car that's for sale across the world, a terrible car that's there to mount a pile of feces to be crowned glorious king of the hill. It's time now for Car-Boyz to do the pup of the week. And this week we've had an email from Colin in Plymouth, which is in the southwest of England, I'm guessing. He said he spotted this car for sale. It's in a city on Gumtree, which is obviously a website where you can have a look. It's a 2003 Perodua Kalisa.
Yes.
It has a full service history of 39,000 miles on the clock, and comes with attractive decal on the bonnet or hood, if you're Americans, in the form of doggy footprints. There you go, doggy decals. Now, before we start to rip this pup of the week, a new one, we must point out that if this has dog paw decals on the car, it must really stink of dog. The owner must be a fan of his or her pooch, possibly, but it must smell so bad that the only thing to do with the interior is set fire to it. So that's one thing against it, but not too bad condition. A few knocks and scratches that are consistent with the car's age. But what does highlight this car is as an absolute rotter is the mismatched gearbox and engine.
You are not wrong. This poor beast hails from Southeast Asia, from the Southeast Asian nation of Malaysia. It's a very Malaysia-centric episode, this one. I used to drive, when I lived out there, a Perodua Nipper.
Oh, yeah.
When I lived in KL. Again, tiny car, small engine. It was effectively a copy of derived from a Datsun K car. Small, I think 666cc engine. Hello. Got a guest on the show. Now the problem with this car is, unlike mine had a dodgy gearbox that you didn't have to depress the clutch to get it into gear. But unlike that, this car has mated the engine, the 1 litre engine, to an auto box. Oh, no. The slowest car in the world. That being said, only 3 owners. It can be yours for a mere 600 quid. 39,000 on the you pay 600 quid for it, and another 100 quid to clean the inside to get rid of the smell of the dog. So congratulations to Colin, who spotted this car for us. Shut up, of Plymouth. The Perodua Kelsia with doggy decals is our pop of the week. I love it. Can I help you?
Have we found the bear yet?
No, we've not found the bear. She's still looking for a bear. Out, I'm on air. No, I don't know where Bear is anyway. If you would like a dog in the near future, I would leave me alone. Does that a good idea? Yeah. There you go. So that's our pup of the week. And from one new feature to
Ooh.
another. Yeah, I know. We're kicking them out this week. I think I've had a lot of time on my hands. I was getting bored. This new feature is the big. Well, hang on. It's the big question. The big question. Time on the show for another new element. This week it's called the big question. So we pose a motoring conundrum to you, the viewer, and ask you if you can actually help us. It could be a question about why people have beaded seats in their car, to what is the best way to get poo off my bonnet. The answer, of course, is stop parking your car outside the Bernard Mathis turkey factory in Norfolk. This week, I am posting the first big question, and it is, are there any other people in the world who own a Toyota Prius and don't work as an Uber driver or a run-of-the-mill taxi driver? Does anybody own a Toyota Prius and not drive a taxi? Now, the reason I thought about this was I live in London, and if you work here as a private driver or an Uber driver, you usually have this sticker in your rear window. Hang on, get it the right way up. And you usually see that on cars that are taxis. It's the private hire, the symbol for London Transport. It means you know that if you get into this, it's a genuine cab. I drove to work this morning and I saw one of these on the back of a Prius. And I thought, does anybody own one of these? A Prius, and is not a cab driver in London. I have met one guy in my life who owned a brand new Prius 12 years ago, bought it new. That's it. I've never met anybody. I don't know anybody that owns a Prius. The only time I ever get in a Prius is when I'm a bit drunk and I get an Uber home. Answers on a postcard. Simon, any thoughts? Do you know anybody that drives a Prius?
I do know one person, one of my colleagues. He does have a Toyota Prius. Not like this one, though, because whoever has this one, this is the new generation of Prius, has made it look like a Ferrari. It's even got a Ferrari badge on the bonnet.
I think that might qualify for our dog of the week.
So that's one thing. So yeah, there was a time this was a cool car in LA. Everyone was driving around in Toyota Priuses. But the thing is, as you said, if you're around London around 11 p.m. at night, well, obviously not now because everything was locked down.
Yeah.
But if you're just driving around London or around London at 11 p.m., all you see are Toyota Priuses. That's all.
The only time I see one, they've all got this in the back. Yes. They're all taxis. I mean, it does make a lot of sense because you run on the electric up to 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, congestion charge in London. So
it makes sense to get one, but I would like to. I mean, can somebody write in and tell us about your Prius on the big question? Yeah, what possessed you? Why didn't you just get an ordinary car, you saddo? Why did you buy the Prius? Because the other thing about them, as we know, is if you are driving it normally, you return 45 mpg.
Yeah.
Which isn't that good anyway. So what's the point? I think it's time for the mailbag.
It is.
I've got to find some music there first because we've got too much music on now. There you go. Lovely.
There you go. It is time for the mailbag. First, Ricardo writes to us from Manchester, England. He says, "Hiya, Car-Boyz. Hope you're all well. He's had quite a few cars over the years, from a BMW M3 to an MGB GT.
Nice.
He currently drives an Audi A6. There's a word for drivers like him. To commute, but but he wants to buy something fun for the weekend. Something for the weekend, sir. He is thinking of getting a kit car, not a kit from Knight Rider, but a kit car that you have to build.
That's right, Michael.
He loves the look of the Lotus 7, the original British kit car, and is in a lovely 2006 Tiger Avon Roadster.
This one?
Yeah, 2-litre Ford Pinto engine, twin Weber carbs, 5-speed manual gearbox, stainless steel side pipes, black alloy wheels, including a spare wheel tyre. Looks, sound, drives fantastic. Lots of paperwork and build documents available. He says, "What do you guys think?" Was a fan of the Lotus, and the Caterham.
Yes.
Patrick McGowan drove in The Prisoner at the
He
start.
did. I'm not a number. I'm a free man. And he drives his Lotus 7. They weren't that fast. They had a crappy
Yeah.
old Ford engine. They
Yeah.
were pretty slow. The Caterhams are fast. So I know that there's Caterham, there's Westfield, there's Robin Hood, there's Locust, there's Tiger, there's Sumo, and there's Silver. And I think there's other companies as well. So basically, they sell you this. Most of these are effectively a Ford Sierra or a Ford Cortina.
Yes, you need a donor car, really.
You need a Ford Sierra and it sometimes is. My dad did try to build one unsuccessfully with a Ford Sierra Estate. He had the Westfield.
Yes.
If you didn't build the car, though, you're going to need to see lots of paperwork, lots of history. You need to take a mechanic with you if you don't know what you're looking at. These can be really fun cars. They can be really good cars, but this is a homemade car. So just bear that in mind when you go and look at these things. They're not built. I mean, you can buy them built from the factory. Certainly Westfield, certainly Caterham will supply you, but that's going to cost you £29,000. I think Ricardo said it was about £6,000 for this. That sounds about right for this car. As long as that's in good nick, take a mechanic. And if it's a labour of love, the guy might have even taken photos as he'd gone along and said, "This is what I did. This is the donor car. Here's the project." And go and have some fun in the summer and enjoy yourself. Why not? I had a friend at work who had the Westfield, and he enjoyed it thoroughly, and he used it as a daily driver. Yeah. Moving on, we're staying up north. We're down to Doncaster, from Lancashire to Yorkshire. Sandra emails the show, and she says, "How do, Car-Boyz? Hope you're both good." She's bought a 17-year-old Ford Galaxy. She's not bought a 17-year-old. That's next week. She said it's a good car, low miles, mechanically very sound, but unlike Salma Hayek, it's a big but. Sandra's car smells like the bottom of an ashtray that somebody's been sick in. She hasn't sent us a picture, but we imagine it looks something like this.
Oh, that's awful.
Doesn't that look fantastic? I don't think that isn't Sandra's car. If you're watching this, Sandra, we do apologise. That's just a representation of what the bottom of your car might look like.
Bad Friday night.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it is. More like a Saturday morning. So 8 hours after the curry.
Straight from the McDonald's.
No. Now, it's a difficult one. Cars have smells. If a car smells, you almost just want to set fire to the inside of the vehicle. Yeah. I once had a car that somebody, I won't say who, had left a pint of milk in the boot and it had spilled. Now, the carpet stank and it took me ages to wash the smell out. But like a budgerigar, I did succeed. A couple of things to do are, firstly, wash the whole interior. And I mean the whole interior. The carpet cleaner on the floor, upholstery cleaner on the fabric of the seats, unless it's leather, then leather cleaner. Clean the steering wheel, clean the dashboard. If it's cigarettes, they'll have soaked into everything. Clean the windows, also clean the headliner. All of these things retain smells. If this isn't working, baking soda rubbed into the offending area, then vacuumed out, then wash again. You could pay, I would also maybe pay for a guy to do this, steam cleaner.
Nice. That's steam cleaner, it's not a smoke machine in your car.
That's actually a guy vaping. Do you know, I went past a guy vaping the other day and I thought the car was on fire. Like, what's going on here? He had a giant, usually vapes are like
a bong.
This thing looked like this. So you don't throw the car away. It's going to take a long time. The other thing to do is if it mix up, if you can get one of those spray bottles and put half white vinegar and half water, spray, that will soak up the smell, and charcoal as well. Maybe grind some charcoal, put it in a bowl. That will soak up the smell, and hopefully you have a clean car.
There you go. Some useful tips for you. Donovan, 1967, calls from Albany, New York.
Nice.
Says, "Hello, Car-Boyz. Hope you're both good." We are.
All right.
He loves the show. He doesn't like to say that. Oh, thank you. He wants some advice on improving the look of his car. He inherited his uncle's 1993 Buick Park Avenue last year. The
Oh,
car is in nice condition. He says it's missing a rear wheel cap,
I
but
like you could say.
is really nice and has only done about 90,000. I'm assuming those are miles, not kilometers.
Yes.
Yes. How does this? How does he improve the look of the paintwork? He has to clean it, but it looks a little bit flat. There's lots of products you can buy in this country. We've got things like T-cut, use, um, and then there's the top end brands which are like Autoclim, isn't there?
Hmm. If he uses the autoclone polish, it is not a polish. It's more than a polish. It'll
Yeah,
actually cut. That's the what I use about 3 times a year. The
yeah.
royal family use it as well, and it has the royal seal of approval, and that will actually cut the paint. Because I imagine this thing hasn't been polished in a while.
Mm.
It'll give it, and like Mr. Miyagi says, small circles, wipe off, wipe on, small circles. You could go further. I've got one of these electric buffer. They're fantastic.
Yes.
Really good. Clay bar the car. There's no point getting a new paint job on this old Buick. I mean, it's a nice old gold car. It's an old man's car. Maybe go and get yourself a new wheel cap. Wheel hub, and it's a car that's worth £1,000. Just get it as good as you can get it, and if there's no rust, just enjoy it and just give it a good clean and a good wash, and you'll be fine. There you go. Just polish it. Keep polishing. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at what that does to an old car. And the other thing is, if you've got covered in scratches, you can polish scratches out.
Yeah.
Just buff it up. I've got a scratch on my old gold Honda, which wasn't this gold, it was champagne gold. And it was a scratch down the side. And I was like, if I paint this, I'm going to have to repaint the whole panel. And I just polished and polished and polished the scratch, and it disappeared. But then as the car became dirty, it would come back again. It's not a small price to pay. And then you polish it again. Final one from the Bulging Male Sack. Sonny from Weybridge. Hello, Sonny. He's looking to buy a car. Wow. 1947. Bristol 400. This guy, 67,000 miles on the clock. It's been owned by the same family for 35 years. Good condition, but an older car, an older refurb. He reckons about in the 1980s. It's on at £35,000. What do you think? So that's what it looks like from the outside.
Beautiful.
There is the engine. I think the interior looks quite sad. That looks like it's seen better days. So I reckon some of the veneer may have come off the wood on the inside. It could do with a new steering wheel. I'm not an expert on Bristols. There is a postage stamp.
Certain Bristols.
Well, I shall explain about that in a minute. My postage stamp knowledge is in what I know about Bristol cars. You can fit it on the back of a postage stamp. But my mother used to live near the plant in Filton in Bristol, where they used to when they made the planes in WW2. So they gave the name Bristols. It's slang for a woman's boobies.
Oh, really?
Yes, because they hung out of the front of the Blenheim bomber. Ergo the phrase, look at the Bristols on her.
Yes.
There you go. Sid James would say. So Bristol's in England means boobies, after the engines from the Bristol Airplane Company and the Blenheim bomber. After the war, they turned their attention to making cars. Now, they got the rights as part of war reparations to BMW. The grille at the front looks like a BMW grille.
It does,
and that's because it is. The car and the shape, most of the shape was originally a pre-war BMW. Also, the engine is a really solid BMW engine. Bristol didn't make their own engines. They used parts from Ford and other companies. But remember, this is a 70-year-old car. Take a mechanic to look at with you. I know £35,000 sounds like a lot, but if you have a look on the internet, that is the cheapest Bristol that I've ever heard of. Most Bristols are about 65, 70 for a second-hand one. That is a cheap car. But these are very solid. Now, Bristol are no longer. They went out of business in March last year. If you want to refurbish this car, the company cannot help you. They used to take the car off you, and for so many thousands, they'd refurbish the car and give it back to you. Yes. So it was like almost like you leased the car. They don't do that any longer. They went bust in March. Join the Owners Club for parts. I assume you can use BMW parts from the 1940s on this as well, and enjoy it. Yeah, I think that is the 400 is the first Bristol they made after the war. Beautiful looking car. So yes, So thank you for all your car questions. Usual address applies when you want to get in touch with Car-Boyz. Is it that time? Is it that time?
Thank you very much.
A bit American for you there. Woo!
It is. This week's Car-Boyz quiz starts with a crash bang wallop. What a video. As we're looking at the bad side of car production and the 10 worst product recalls in motoring history.
Excellent.
So our contestant this week is Richard from Southwest London. Hello, Rich.
Hello.
Now we're looking at vehicle defects of these vehicles and the PR nightmares that followed.
Okay.
Not the grimness of the accidents themselves. And it's either a choice of A or B. And this week, not BYD, but A or B.
Okay.
You're playing for a picture of a Nissan Micra. Just imagine you and the missus in that, you drive in, missus in passenger seat.
So it's yeah. They would say, "Oh, it's Mrs. Green from up the road with her gay friend."
So yeah, that's what you're playing for this week. A picture of a convertible.
I can't. Does it? The only thing is, does it turn on the other pictures of cars on my wall gay or not? No.
Quite possibly.
Okay, damn.
Let's look at that. So we're going to start 10 questions, 10 recalled cars.
Okay. Let's do
Question number 1. General Motors recalled some of their trucks and SUVs made between 2014 and 2018 because of a faulty brake vacuum pump.
Okay.
How many vehicles did it affect? Was it A, 1.9 million, or B, 3.4 million vehicles?
Oh, let's go high. Let's go for 3.4.
Is the right answer.
Yay!
4 million vehicles it did.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 1 so far. Well done. Question number 2. We go to this car. It's Tesla.
Ooh.
Tesla recalled 53,000 cars in 2017.
Okay.
To fix a faulty park brake. I think most of these are park brake problems.
Yes.
That prevented cars from moving. While a relatively small number, what percentage of total output did that 53,000 cars represent? So did it represent 70% or B, 90% of total output for Tesla?
I think I'm going to say the lower number, 70%.
Absolutely right. Yes. Right answer. 70% is 53,000 cars that Tesla sold in 2017.
I'm sure I really want to win this picture, but I will do my best.
Question number 3.
Uh-huh.
In the mid to late 1990s,
yes.
Ford, Fix or Repair Daily, had 2 recalls for cars bursting into flames. This one is obviously not on fire. The first was due to an overheating ignition, but what was the other? Was it A, an overheating cruise control button, or B, an overheating tape player?
Oh, I want it to be the tape player. I really want it to be the tape player. I'm going to say tape player. Screw it. Let's take a risk.
No, it wasn't. It was an overheating cruise control button.
Damn it.
So 2 out of 3 ain't bad so far. Question number 4. The Ford Pinto, another Ford, became synonymous with crap car design.
Yeah.
But what made the cars explode? Was it A, the position of the rear view mirror blinding other drivers, or was it B,
I know this one.
Cheaply made fuel tank?
Cheaply made fuel tank. They exploded.
It was. Yes, it was.
Terrible. For all Americans listening, the Ford Pinto engine is one of the best engines that they ever made. The cars are crock, but they brought the engine over to Europe, and loads of cars in Europe, the Cortina, the Sierra, had the Ford Pinto engine, and it's a solid engine. It was just a shite car.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well done. Question number 5. Following the Pinto fiasco, Ford faced another PR nightmare with more faulty park brakes and recalled over 20 million vehicles. How much did it cost the brand? Was it A, $2 million, or B, $5 million?
Let's go 5. I'm going big. I want to go big.
Oh, no, sorry,
really?
It was only $2 million.
That sounds quite
But,
cheap.
but yeah,
But
relatively cheap with that.
back in the 70s. Yeah, there's a lot of money.
Okay, question number 6. It's back to Toyota. So here's
Aha.
embarrassed again.
Stop it.
They have the 5th place. It's the Ferraris. Look at the Ferrari badge.
Is that from Malaysia?
Probably. Toyota are in 5th place on recalls with the sticky accelerator pedal that found drivers flying down the highway. What did Toyota initially blame for this problem? Was it A, drivers flooring it, or B, floor mats getting wedged on the pedal?
Or C, Western impertinence? I think Western impertinence was a reason. What? Could you repeat that again? It was the floor mat or the
drivers flooring it, or B, floor mats getting wedged on.
I'm going to say floor mats.
It was wedged floor mats, yeah. But actually, that wasn't it. It was the actual accelerator pedal itself.
We refuse to accept that.
Well done. Question number 7. Back to Ford.
Yes.
And in the 90s, the Ford Explorers were in the news for rolling over because of the tires they used. Was it what brand of tires were they? Were they A, Goodyear, or B, Firestone? Think back. I know you know it.
Firestone.
It was Firestone.
Yay.
Well on the way to getting
Firestone's still a thing. I can't remember when I was offered a Firestone tie last.
I think, are they related to Bridgestone? They might be. No, I don't know. But
no,
yeah.
I don't. I was at a Continental. I've been offered Michelin if you're English, or Michelin if you're French. Oh, look at that. I think I drove the non-coupe version of that in Cyprus about 7 years ago, and it was horrible. It was the most frightening car. You whack on the acceleration and nothing happened. So like going around this Cypriot mountain road, really needing to. I need to put a bit of speed round here. Nope, nothing.
That's you're well on the way for that picture.
I can't hardly wait.
Question number 8. General Motors recalled 30 million cars in 2014 as an ignition fault caused cars to slip into an accessory mode while driving.
Yes.
What then stopped working in the event of a crash? Was it A, airbags not deploying, or B, ABS failing?
Oh, let's say ABS failing. That feels good.
No, it was a bit more sinister than that. It was airbags not deploying.
That's creepy.
It is.
What's that got to do with ignition fault?
I don't know. It went into accessory mode, whatever accessory mode was.
And what car was that? Just remind me.
General Motors. I think it's affected several General Motors.
Vauxhall. Ugh. Yeah. Horrible.
Question number 9, again a more serious one this time. Still with airbags. In 2014, millions of cars were recalled because they found what in airbags? Was it A, holes, or B, metal shards?
Metal shards.
Yes.
I remember this.
That's awful. Absolutely awful.
Were they sourcing their airbags from the provisional IRA? There's nails in there as well. They'll be fine.
Some bolts and stuff, yeah. And so well done. And for the last one, it's for the car. You pretty much
I can hardly wait.
Question number 10.
Yes.
We have the VW's emissions recall. There we go. Now there's that.
That's fine. It's okay. It's only when it first started.
Yeah, no diesel chatter on that. The scandal from 2015 to date. How much has the scandal, which is the biggest recall of cars in history, how much does it cost the VW brand? Is it A, $15 million, or B, $30 million?
50 million. 15 million or 30 million. I'm trying to think. 50 million or 30 million. I'm going to say 50 million. It sounds right.
No, it's 30 million.
It's only a mere 30 million.
It doesn't matter because you have.
I've won that.
You've won the.
Honestly, it was my daughter that's just walked in was conceived on the island of Cyprus. And it had nothing to do with me driving around in that horrific Micra. And I was going to say about Vauxhall, I went running today and I saw a 2009 Vauxhall. Don't know what it was. The inside of the headlight was green, like water had leaked into the inside. And I was just looking at this going, I own a nearly 20-year-old Honda and there's no leaking headlight. GM makes some horrific cars. Yes, I've won big time. Anyway, there you go. There's the outcome.
start the year as you want to go on.
As I mean to go on as that's Richard's come out, has he? I wondered when he was going to with that car. I did work with a lady actually many years ago who drove the pink Jazz. It was pink, like a pink gold, but it seemed to work for her. It wouldn't have been my first car of choice, but for her, it seemed to work. That's it for the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Again, you can get all your stuff through to us here at the Car-Boyz, in on the Car-Boyz at car-boysout.com, car-boyz at Car-Boyz with 4 Zs, Facebook, car-boyz with a Z at car_boys with a Z, Twitter, Instagram at car_boys with 3 Zs. We will be back next week, hopefully COVID. And are you doing anything exciting this week?
No, just staying in.
Staying in, having an injection, reading 1984 by George Orwell and realising it's come to be true. Thank you, folks. See you next time.